Welcome back to the Back Post. Plenty to talk about, loads to talk about. In fact, Salah versus Slot, Liverpool civil war, Chelsea dropping more points in December, becoming a real theme. Spurs even got their first win. I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
You missed something there.
The biggest event of the weekend.
City did win as well, actually, didn't they? No, I did forget about City winning as well. So, but no, look, before we get into that, if you could please subscribe. We're on the way to 10,000 subscribers, trying to hit it by the end of the year. Your support so far has been amazing. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah, there's something bigger to talk about, to be fair, before we get into Arsenal, which we definitely will be talking about.
I will get into you, but
I don't think Arsenal played this weekend, so we'll talk about Slot versus Salah. That has to be what we lead with. I mean,
Liverpool civil war. Like I cannot believe what I was seeing when Salah just goes up to the most random reporter that he could find in the room and drops just one of the biggest interviews in Premier League history.
He hit the jackpot, that reporter. He must have buzzed.
It was insane. Right. I genuinely think, though, this will be looked back upon as one of the biggest interviews that we've ever seen in the league. Like, what he revealed, like, basically said, I hate the manager, club's throwing me under the bus, I'm going to leave in January, you just given me a contract worth $350k a week, biggest contract in Premier history, I've just come off the back of an all-timer season.
I should start, despite any form.
It's mental. Do you actually think that he's in the wrong there, then? Because obviously there's been a lot of chat about it.
Yeah, it's one of those. If an Arsenal player did it, I would not be happy. I think like this sort of thing, keep it behind closed doors. Yeah. And he's done this sort of thing previously.
Yeah,
I get where he's coming from in the sense that like he doesn't want to be dropped, and I agreed with a fair bit of what he's saying in terms of bit of scapegoating, that sort of thing.
Sure,
but like you just alluded to, that one thing that I think is worrying is him saying I shouldn't have to earn my spot. Basically,
it's crazy.
This and then he said I'm not bigger than any other player. And it's like, but if you think that you should be starting regardless of form, you think you're bigger than, which in fairness, like he's done a lot for the club. But there's just
so is Kenny Dalglish or whatever.
Right.
And they start because of what they've done in the past. Like, I know that's obviously we're leaping back in time there, but realistically, if you're playing badly,
it's a terrible
that
mindset.
Long, the manager's under pressure. He needs to change something.
Also,
and like that's their player that works the least hard defensively.
Yeah,
they've had problems.
And Loki got better as well when he got dropped. Like, they're unbeaten.
They are unbeaten.
It's not got better, but they've drawn to Sunderland, drawn to Leeds. They've beaten West Ham, and they're losing every week before that. So,
do you think Salah does the if they win that game? Does Salah do that interview? Because I don't think he can give that interview after a win. Because it's like, well,
I think he thought it's time.
But because they drew, I think genuinely, I think he might have thought, right,
I can put the boot
I can do it now.
Yeah.
And that again is worrying if you're a Liverpool fan. I mean, you saw the Liverpool media guy in the back, just absolutely like that flashlight meme of just the week that they're going to have behind closed doors is going to be
the thing I don't get. Could you imagine walking back into the changing room? That's what I don't get about it. Like, you just drop that bombshell. It comes out basically immediately after the game. I mean, Fabrizio automatically starts aggregating all the quotes, whatever. And then walking back into the dressing room, travelling back on the team bus because it was an away game. Like, you're with the manager, you're with the players. I don't get how that's like. I don't get how he can even front that. Like, he must have basically gone, I'm not going to speak to anyone, hood up on the bus.
Oh, yeah.
What's fascinating about it is, obviously, there would have been a bit of delay from when he gave the interview to when it starts blowing up. So surely everyone's phones are going nuts on this bus.
And does he tell people in the dressing room? Does he walk into the dressing room and be like, lads?
Well, or does he get on that bus and other Liverpool players are going, did you say it?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe they just saw a few claps as he walks by.
I think you said there's something about Van Dijk, or
there's a weird clip where
allegedly,
because you don't see Van Dijk, but you can hear Van Dijk saying, "Let him talk," which people have taken as Van Dijk was saying, "Let Salah talk," and Van Dijk has publicly backed Salah as well. He also publicly backed Robertson, who's been getting dropped as well. So maybe there is a feeling from some of those senior heads of like, you can't put this on us.
Which is mental.
Which is mental, because you look at Van Dijk's performances, they've not been there. You look at Konate's, they've not been there.
Yeah.
And I think that ties into this mentality that Salah has, maybe, of how many of them actually think, I'm not going to get dropped. I'm not going to get replaced.
Yeah.
Because Konate and Van Dijk, you've only got Joe Gomez. There's no pressure on them.
And Liverpool... whereas the attackers, though, that's where the most investment is. So that's what he's naturally going to switch more. And he said last season, I didn't have to do my defensive duties. Me and Slot agreed on this. And he was talking about promises made in summer. It's like, did they promise you could play terrible?
I don't know what that
were they like, you're just going to start every game guaranteed no matter what? Because surely that's not a promise you make. Like, you can't really make that promise. And I wouldn't have imagined... Liverpool don't seem like the kind of club to do that either. Like, they were very much about giving Salah a new contract in the first place, which a lot of people thought was crazy. So I think when they give it to him, I think it might have been very much a case of Liverpool go, okay, well, we are going to renew your contract, give you 350 grand a week. But I can't imagine, like, those kind of promises you make when you're begging a player to sign.
Yeah, it's a weird... I mean, because the one thing they didn't do in the summer was still bring in any sort of credible backup for him in terms of, right, maybe it was that. Maybe they went, we won't bring anyone to compete with you.
Yeah.
And that in his head was, well, that's I'm guaranteed starting then. But obviously it hasn't worked out like that.
Maybe Salah's always said that he doesn't want people coming in to compete with him. Maybe he's always been like, don't you dare start on a backup.
Like, the thing that's mad about that is there's a guy who's been playing better than him in terms of going back and going forward who hasn't said a word. Okay, he's offering something. He's sat there, obviously, that's a professional thing to do, is I'm going to earn my place in that team. Salah was dropped for a week. Yeah. He's been poor since February. Liverpool have had these problems since February. Like, it goes backdates further than just this season. Yeah. Slot had to change something. He changed a player that works the least off the ball, etc.
But let's be real, Salah didn't play at all against Leeds. Yeah. They still conceded 3 goals. So there are deeper line issues
than far from the sole problem.
Than Mo Salah. But I think the issue that they've got now is that with everything else on the pitch going wrong, to then have this in the background. I mean, supposedly the club are backing Slot, which they have to. Like, you can't, no matter what, even if you actually think Slot is in the wrong, you can't come out and back. You can't back player power over a manager.
No, that'd be.
But I do think the issue you've got is if you go against Salah and you destroy that relationship, and then you get rid of Slot in a month anyway, because they keep saying it's, it'll be to do with on-field performances with Slot. But it's like, well, what is it, like 5 wins in their last 20 games or something? Like, there comes a point where Slot's going to lose his job anyway, and if you've lost both of them, that's...
But I do kind of feel like them backing Slot is actually them backing themselves as a club. It's like, you can't step out of line like that. It's basically the equivalent of going...
Oh, 100%.
My boss is terrible. I've been mistreated. It's like, but you can't go around saying that in public. You can't do that.
No, 100%. I don't see how Slot's role is tenable anymore. Really, I don't think he should still be the Liverpool manager in my opinion. I think he should have gone probably after Leeds. I think he probably could have gone a couple of weeks ago. But the criteria for sacking a manager is obviously on-field performances, which they've said. But also, if you lost a dressing room in this way, if the squad is this divided, you've got to change that. That is the one thing you can change that will genuinely make a difference in that regard. If Slot goes tomorrow, okay, you get in an interim, there's lots to talk about like Gerrard or something, which, I mean, from a footballing point of view would be disaster. And I do think you're kind of chucking the season away at that point. But
could they Di Matteo it though? You never know. I'm just saying, you never know. Di Matteo wants some amazing manager.
I don't think it will be as like big of a boost for Liverpool Football Club as like their fans think it will be.
A loss of the dressing room though, like you said, it's far easier to change one man than it is to sell 4 or 5.
Oh, and they can't sell. They're not going to sell anyone in January, are they? They're probably not going to make any signings either because they just spent 450 mil unless they get like Gahey for 30 million on quite a cheap deal. Obviously, could have waited till summer. Plan probably was to wait for summer. With Konate's performances, I'll be making that permanent on the 1st of January. Seriously, and there was rumours of them selling Konate for 15 million. Like, doesn't sign a contract before January, so could be big change there. But yeah, I mean, I don't see how Slot survives past the next week or so. No. They've got Inter Milan away in the Champions League next week. They lose that game. I mean, next weekend in the Prem as well. I just think he should go now. I think there's a shame because Salah will win in this situation. I don't think a player should win by coming out publicly and dividing a club in that way. But I just think he will. I don't think Liverpool got any other option. Really.
Well, the problem is they've given him a huge contract, the highest paid player in their history.
Yeah, who's paying
and
that? Like,
unless it's and it doesn't sound like Saudi are that interested.
No.
And unless it is, no one else is going to pay those wages on top of a transfer fee.
Yeah.
So it's either Saudi or bust, and I don't think that will happen.
I do think there'll be no winner in it. I have to say, I do think Saudi will come in just because he's such a big icon. Like, I do think they would come in for him in that sense, and also, I don't think Liverpool can stand for it because this is the most Man United thing that Liverpool have done in God knows. It is like a complete circuit.
It feels Ronaldo, Ten Hag-esque.
If you look back at players who've done these interviews, the only 2 that come to mind for me, or 3 actually. Roy Keane did something not too dissimilar, but different. But Lukaku, Ronaldo, not one of them was there within a year.
That's true.
They were all gone.
One difference. Well, maybe not so much with Keane and even Ronaldo. To be fair. Lukaku, the fan base turned on him instantly when that happened. Yeah. Whereas with Liverpool, the majority of Liverpool fans I've seen have got actually behind Salah over Slot. So there's
the online ones too. I saw a lot of Liverpool fans though as well that are like, you're not
still
bigger than...
wrong, but even, I mean, obviously we're friends with Scaife, who for me is one of the more level-headed Liverpool fans. Even he was like, Salah shouldn't have done that, but if you're asking me to sit down and give you a name of who I'm getting behind, Slot or Salah, it's Salah.
I do find that peculiar though, that it is considered by, it seems that a lot of Liverpool fans, it is like they are mutually exclusive. It's like they're not. surely you can want Slot out and also be like, this is also wrong.
Yeah,
but it does feel like
versus.
No, but it is versus because if Slot doesn't go, Salah goes in January.
But is Salah purposely playing bad because he doesn't like Slot?
Yeah.
For the last 9 months, Salah's been bad because he doesn't like Slot.
No, sorry. I thought you meant about the interview. But no, he's not.
Yeah, like that would deliver anyway. And also, he had previous to this, if you remember the back end of Klopp's tenure, with the substitution falling out there.
Yeah,
so it's like...
I mean, he's clearly got an ego like most of these big players do, but I think it's just one of those where if Slot doesn't go before January, that relationship is now completely
that's done.
Like that, they're done. So it's like if Liverpool back Slot, say they go on a bit of a winning run over December, like Salah's just going to go, is he not? Because he's not going to be playing for Slot anymore. Like as a manager, you simply cannot allow Salah back in after that. So for me, it's a case of Liverpool either get rid of Salah in January and keep Slot and back Slot and just firm playing without him till then. Maybe Chiesa gets a chance for once. Or
AFCON's a good time for this. Yeah.
He can go next week. They will have that. They won't have that problem for the next month. That's actually really nice. It gives them a bit of time to actually properly decide on it. But I imagine Slot's gone within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I just don't see that form turning around, to be honest. I think, and any interim that comes in, I think there are fundamentals that they're going to struggle with. They don't have a proper six.
Yeah.
The right-back situation, I think, is really bad. Connor Bradley's coming again. He's a walking yellow card. I don't actually rate him particularly highly, but I'm also not convinced by Frimpong. Centre-backs just look all over the shop. So I'm like, any manager walking into this, it's a mess.
They're struggling.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny. You look back at like the summer, journalists waxing lyrical about Liverpool being the most incredibly run club. It was unbelievable the way people were talking about it. And actually, you look back, you go, they didn't address centre back, they didn't address six, and they've ended up with just this carnage situation within the first 2 months.
The reality is, it's like you spent $500 million to burn a title-winning team to the ground.
Yeah. That's what it looks like right now.
I do, yeah. I have said though, like I do think the transfer window looks better in a couple of years' time. Like I think a lot of those players age well, and I think that you'll probably be looking back on this summer as like Liverpool actually made some really good signings. But for now, I mean, Liverpool aren't the kind of club who do that normally.
No,
they're not the kind of club who have major change.
Really Manchester United. It is. It's big names have come in. Yeah. It's still bad. It's players like it's.
The assumption is that it'll work out.
Yeah,
it's not guaranteed.
No, for sure. I think players like Ekitike, Isak, I think they might sell one of them for big money.
Yeah.
But I think one of them will be very good for Liverpool. I think Wirtz will be very good for Liverpool. I think Kirkes may come good at some point. I don't really rate him that highly, though, to be honest. But I do think some of their signings will come good, but just not under Slot. And they were all signed for Slot to kick on. So they haven't done that.
I was going to say, are they signed for Slot or are they signed for the future?
They're signed for Liverpool.
They've signed for Liverpool, but I'm looking at two Leverkusen players. Even Kirkes looks better in a back five, and there's a certain Xabi Alonso that's looking on the brink, ex-Liverpool. I just think that, to me, sounds...
Him and Slot are both feel like they're a result away from being sacked. Is that something Liverpool jump on quickly? Do they need to?
If Real Madrid sacked him, do you think Liverpool would immediately move?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. But I don't even think that's that sensible. Like, I think when a manager has, like, if you just failed at Real Madrid, pressure will be on him in a big way coming to Liverpool immediately after that. And also, going from one like major project, had the whole summer with Madrid, gone into this season, it's not gone well. Going straight into Liverpool mid-season when it's like in time.
Honestly, it's out of the frying pan into the fire. If you're going from Real Madrid, where you've got a problem where you've got certain players that don't really fit into what you want to do, but they're massive wages, massive egos, you're going straight into the exact same situation at Liverpool.
So pounding him out as well at Real Madrid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean... Yeah.
See what he came out and said yesterday in his interview afterwards? He was basically like, going down to 10 men was actually all right because at least the players started working. Like, it's like a manager saying that. Again, the writing's on the wall. It's like...
I don't envy anyone that goes into that
Real
job.
It's a weird one, though. I
think it could happen because if the alternatives, like we said, are an interim of Gerrard, who else was...
Rafa, what's he do?
Yeah, maybe Klopp coming back again would be terrible. I just don't feel like that's that's not a useful... interim to have for the rest of the season. You may as well just commit to the next project manager, which could be Xabi Alonso. Leeds, I don't think we can kind of fully skip over Leeds because what a week they've had. Unlucky against Man City, scored 2 goals against them. Then they smashed you 3-1. Then they've drawn 3-3, 8 goals in 3 games against City, Chelsea, Liverpool. I mean, Tanaka, unbelievable.
So
Anton Stack popping up with big goals. And that 2 up top.
It was different too as well.
Seems like an absolute handful.
Daniel Farke is just horrifying.
Daniel
Farke,
Farke.
isn't he? Talking about, I mean, there was the report that came out on Monday saying if he doesn't win or if he doesn't get results out of both of the games, then he'll lose his job. It feels like Leeds have just constantly been wanting to sack him. Basically, since last summer, since he got them promoted, and he just keeps on hanging on. Getting a point against Liverpool, getting a win against Chelsea in a big way, battered you lot as well, which was obviously huge for their confidence. Like, it's done them the world of good. And the result against City as well, despite the fact they lost, last-minute equaliser at the Etihad. Leeds are used to getting absolutely thumped at the Etihad. So he's done very, very well.
That was what was most impressive, even with that City loss. It's like, okay, yeah, against us they go up and they win the game. They were 2-0 down in both the City and Liverpool games.
Yeah,
so that level of fight is
yeah.
going to give you some fuel for fighting relegation, really.
And he's actually changed something and found something. I always feel like with a manager, maybe it was a bit of they're just up for it against the bigger teams when, next couple of weeks. But they've actually changed to a 2 up top system. Nemecha and Calvert-Lewin. I know Nemecha didn't play against Liverpool, but still the 2 up top. Calvert-Lewin, brilliant. I feel like if they've really found something there.
It's also the way that they can switch a game. Even when that wasn't particularly working, they're like, right, we bring Nonto on, now we move in the attack completely.
Nonto was good when he came on. I thought Aronson was good as well.
Player.
And these people, like Aronson, I did not rate last time he was in the Premier League. I remember he scored that goal against you where he closed down Mendy, and that was about all I can remember him doing.
We do away at Leeds.
Leeds
goals are in there.
But it's like now he's looking like a bit more of a serious player. Getting a tune out of Calvert-Lewin, which is good. The midfield looks balanced. Defensively, I still think they've got big question marks defensively, like with some of those players, like the individuals.
A lot though.
Does a lot. But Joe Rodon, I don't mind. I think he's a low-level Premier League centre half. I think he's been decent for them this season. I think you saw at Spurs that he could hack it in the Prem, like the very limited minutes he played there. But Goodmanson's decent. I think they've got some decent.
I think all season they've actually the base level of their performances has not been bad. There's been a lot of times where you've gone, if they just had even a half-decent striker. But now they found goals from Stack, from Tanaka. If they keep doing that,
I think
they might be all right.
Everton at home was like the first game of the season. That was a good example of that.